Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and this is a really fun one. This is with Andrew from Embers Barbecue in Lubbock, Texas. They're open Thursdays and Saturdays only. They're outside of the Charles Adams Art Project from 11 a.m. till sold out. Get there early because they do sell out. Those hours and things might expand. You'll hear at the end of the interview all about that. This is such an interesting one because Andrew's just dead honest. He is honest about his feelings along the road to getting to where they are. And a lot of you guys who are listening to this or might know that they're in Leveland for a stint for a year or so, and the road to open that up was difficult. And he's honest about how exciting it was and how it blew up, and then how it leveled off and how sales were dying, and then how they had to come to grips with the fact that they needed to do something else. And he was thinking of other things. And he's been in the barbecue business for a long time. He's worked at Bigham's in Lubbock for over a decade. And he talks about that. He talks about his first brisket and how he cooked a brisket at Bingham's and totally different than the way they do it. And he talks about their style and talks about the style of barbecue in that region. And I don't know, I don't want to get too into the weeds because we get into the weeds in the interview, and I think you're really going to love it and really be interested in visiting Embers when you're in the Lubbock area. I can't thank Andrew enough for being so forthcoming. And this episode is brought to you by The Smoke Sheet. The Smoke Sheet is available at bbqnewsletter.com, bbqnewsletter.com. Just follow the link, sign up, boom, every Wednesday in your email box you get a newsletter. But to call it a newsletter isn't really explaining exactly what it is. It's full of fresh content, original content every week. It's created by Sean Ludwig, who is NYC BBQ, and Ryan Cooper, who is at BBQ Tourist. The two of them joined forces when they met outside of Snow's Barbecue in Lexington, Texas. Realized they're on the same path of exploring barbecue joints and learning about where pitmasters go and all about the barbecue news and what's going on. And that's why they came out with the Smoke Sheet, and it's great. I've been on board since day one. That's why I wanted to work with them and do this sponsorship, because I wanted more people to know about it. There's barbecue news, there's information on openings and closings and barbecue events, links and information to all the latest barbecue events that are coming up. That way you don't miss out. There's links to all the barbecue YouTube stuff out there, the Vimeo stuff, all of the barbecue podcasts. There's a lot of barbecue podcasts. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably listen to other ones too, and they're great. But they give you information as to what is coming up in each one of those, or what you just missed the last week, which is great. It's invaluable. There's also a barbecue recipe of the week. That's an original one that it's really great. You're going to read it. You're going to find something new every week. They put a lot of work into it. It's not something they just quickly pump together. It's really, really great. It's available again at bbqnewsletter.com. That's bbqnewsletter.com. The Smoke Sheet is barbecue news worth consuming. And if you're digging these, please subscribe. I have a YouTube channel too. If you're just listening to the podcast, it's youtube.com/Kevin's BBQ Joints, and you can find me at Kevin's BBQ Joints pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow me. Send me a direct message. Let me know what you're thinking of this. Let me know if there's anything specific within this interview that you dig. I really do appreciate all the feedback, and I appreciate you guys listening to it. I know there's a lot of different things to listen to, and there's tons and tons of movies and TVs and sport. There's so much stuff out there. So the fact that you guys do take the time to enjoy these, it means a lot. So thanks for being part of this, and I really hope you enjoy this. Thanks so much. Good evening, Andrew. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
I'm glad we finally got this together. I'm sorry I'm using this archaic Skype to get this going, but I'm glad we got it.
Hell yeah.
The first question I wanted to ask is I generally ask what's a day been like for you, or what's a usual day. But what does barbecue mean to you, or what is barbecue like in your mind?
It's deep rooted for me. I mean, my whole family did that, growing up every weekend, like literally every weekend, barbecue at the house. And when I started driving and, going out on my own, and then I'd come home, I'd always everybody in my family would be together barbecuing. So that's just what they did. And I didn't realize how special it was until later in life. One of my first jobs was a barbecue place here in Lubbock. It was called Bigham's.
Okay.
Bigham's Smokehouse. So it was developed opened in the 80s. Anyway, so I worked there about 9 years off and on between school and construction jobs or whatever I was doing.
Were you cooking there, or were just working there?
So I did everything there, because I started when I was 16, so I washed dishes and then moved way, worked my way up. I was cutting and just serving on the line, cashier, and then yeah, I ended up being manager and cooking, and they did tons of catering. So like if you were cooking there, you cooked a lot of briskets every night, and you cut a lot. You cut that morning for all your caterings you had, and sent people out the door with it, and you still you had to get all that done before the morning opened.
And that's a lot. Catering is a lot. I think people that
Yeah.
aren't in the restaurant business or haven't been maybe might not realize how an important part of the business that is.
And see, like, yeah, I don't know, like they're very well established, so they've been around forever. So the catering was huge for them, and yeah, anybody I ever meet, I'm like, man, Bigham's, they make a lot of money on their catering. Like,
I hate to ask this, are they still around?
yeah, they are. Yeah, they have actually like a couple spots
Okay.
in town that they opened. They're local, but and then one of the sons actually owns Triple J Smokehouse, or
Okay.
I mean Steakhouse,
Yeah.
Chop House is what they call it. It's in the Depot District. So, but yeah, when I worked there, I that's when I realized do I love barbecue? Like, what the hell? Like, because I was like, this is what my family does, like, for fun and like just to eat. Like, they believe in eating well, like. So at that point is when I realized, like, I really enjoy cooking and serving people, and like, because growing up in my family, if somebody cooked that weekend, it maybe my uncle, or my dad, depending on who it was. When everybody's eating, all you'd hear is compliments the whole time, like, and I just thought that was normal. But like in my family, that's like the way it was, like. You did good on this, like, oh my god, it's so tender, it's like, whatever. And I'm like, so that's just the way it was. But then, like, I realized that's like pretty cool. Like, now I'm like, wow, like that's really cool.
And it makes you
like,
feel good. That's like within family and friends when that happens. It's a great feeling. It really is nice.
Yeah.
And it's encouraging to people. I think
Right.
it's important. Yeah.
And that's like what they did. It was like whoever was cooking was just trying to do the most bomb job for the family, and then everybody would compliment them every weekend. I'm telling you.
Was it brisket?
No, they did a lot
Or
of
steaks?
grilling, like steaks, and they'd do different marinades or whatever, But I mean, they would cook a lot, like ribs, everything. Like, but yeah, that's where I fell in love with it. Bigham's like furthered it, and that was like, I mean, that was when I was, so I'm 32 or almost 32. So when I was 16, so I started Bigham's like 2005.
Okay. Did it get pretty busy? Or were there big rushes, like lunch rush?
Yeah, there's big rushes because, like I said, they're pretty established. Sunday morning rush is huge for Bigham's. A line to the door the whole time. Like it. So there, I learned to like how to snap with it, get with it, because
that was my point.
There's a lot of people coming, and how to work with the team in the kitchen. You know what I mean?
And what it's like, all the prep, all that stuff. That's probably
Right.
That was a great primer for you.
Yeah, and like so the some of the people that I worked there with, like there's still a couple of them that still work there. Like they worked there forever, Like I mean, some of those people one of the ladies, her name's Esther. She's worked there before I worked there. She worked there, and she's still working there. So she's
So if you go to Bigham's, which location does she work at?
82nd.
82nd. If you go there, say hi to Esther and say that Andrew said hi.
Yeah, exactly.
She's gonna be. Hopefully, she'll be like, "What's going on?"
So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I worked there forever, and that's when I realized, like this is barbecue to me. Like,
Were you traveling outside to go to other barbecue places, or was that just your idea of what barbecue was?
no, I mean, I've always like I said, when I realized I love barbecue, like what the hell is this? Like. Then I started to recollect all the other barbecue I've had that I enjoy. Like, there's Ponderosa barbecue that's like in Dickens, the small town, like from here to Seymour. My grandparents were from Seymour, and my papa was a trucker.
Okay.
So if I would ever ride on the truck with him, we would always stop in Ponderosa and get sliced brisket sandwiches. And that's also when I realized, like, at Bigham's at that time period, like, man, that's badass. Like, and so that's like one of my spots where I was like, Ponderosa is special to me,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, of course, like, and it didn't matter that I worked at Bigham's. Like, I'd eat every place in Lubbock. Like, what does this taste like? What does this taste like? Just obsessed with. I mean, it could be anything. If they got a good sauce or something, I'm like, hell yeah, like that's cool, That's cool that they made that.
What would you say West Texas style barbecue is? Is there a specific style of that, or is it just kind of a mix of things, or more saucy?
See, okay, people always want to be like, oh, it's more mesquite based and all
Yeah,
this.
no, I've heard
And I
that.
believe maybe there's something there. I don't know, because like there's places in town that are like that advertise just mesquite. But
Oh, interesting.
yeah, just mesquite. They advertise just mesquite, but then like from wood guys that I messed with, and then going to check it out myself because I'm like so curious about it. Like
Yeah.
they don't even use mesquite; they use straight up oak too. You know, and you're like, oh, like why? Like, but it's funny because too, like if people ask me, what do you smoke with, and they would just automatically like, you smoke with mesquite, and I'm like, no, I don't smoke with mesquite. I smoke with oak. Like, and then like when we were leveling, people especially were like, oak, that's strange, and I'm like, it's not that strange, man. Like
It's not that
that's what we
strange.
used at Bigham's, so that's like what I went with, you know.
That's pretty
And
fun. That's pretty funny that people would even think that that's a strange thing, or that people even think that they can discern the difference. Like
right,
it takes a certain palate to be able to understand it.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that like, I mean, I do like some stuff like smoked with mesquite or
Hmm.
whatever. And you know, I've grilled things over mesquite, and I mean, it comes out badass. Like, I don't know, I don't know what Miss West Texas barbecue is really. The oldest restaurant in Lubbock is Tom and Bingo's Barbecue.
Okay.
Okay, and it's off 34th Street. And it's so now it's third generation barbecue joint. They do things their way, you know, like they didn't have sides this all this time. I don't know. He might the guy that took it over.
Well, that's interesting.
He's about my age. He's the son-in-law of the guy. So I don't. He might have added it on. He's doing some new things. But anyways, they do just what you get there when you go. Man, go get a chopped beef sandwich, and they have the best sauce ever, dude. Like, and they sell that sauce in the grocery store now. You know all that. So, but I mean, to
Are they
me,
smoking with mesquite over there?
no, they actually use hickory.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't like, I don't know.
So that's interesting. Do you think this is kind of off topic? But do you think that places like that, these older places, have to change because of the way Texas monthly and the way the barbecue world has changed, or are they
I
staying
don't
the
think.
same?
I don't think so. I mean,
They
if
have their
I
customers,
was
right? They don't need.
right,
Yeah,
if I was like in charge of Tom and Bingo's, I would be like, we're not changing a damn thing.
yeah, I agree.
Maybe raise the prices a little bit if you have to, because the beef prices are so
True,
outrageous.
true.
But I mean, you know, because you got to stay in business. But other than that, man, like
Like you got to add
it's
desserts maybe or something, or maybe.
right, and he's added some desserts and stuff. But that's cool, man. Like there's just it's the charm of barbecue.
Hmm.
Like you want to go to that place, like
And you
just
want
like
it to
how
be the
people want
same.
to go to Lockhart.
Yeah. Yeah, if Lockhart
So
all of a sudden changed or started completely changing, that would be sad. That would be really sad.
right, right, and you kind of just like, well, I don't know, like it's good bites there, and at Tom Bingo's, but at the same time, if it changed, you'd be like, well, what makes this any different from you
True.
know this new place that just popped up? Like
Yeah. And
I don't know,
you hope that these generational places stay in business. I hope they do. They do.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did your drive change? Like what happened between you working there and then at Bigham's and then actually starting your own place? Did you go to school or do something else first and then so you grew up in Lubbock or outside of Lubbock?
Yeah, I grew up in Lubbock, well, right outside the city
Okay.
limits, so or in the cotton fields. But yeah, born and raised here. When I was working at Bigham's, like I started when I was in high school, so it didn't take me long to realize like I love it, like I love this,
Yeah.
And throughout all the years, whenever when I needed a job, I'd just go back there because I knew all those people,
Yeah.
and they knew I was a hard worker. So I'd be like, "Hey, I need a job." They'd be like, "All right, like you can start now if you want. Like we need somebody." Like,
Yeah, and they trusted you.
or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. I joked with my dad even at one point in my life, and I was like, when I got a job there again for like I don't know the fourth time or something. And he's like, "You working back there again?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I guess I'm just gonna do barbecue for the rest of my life." And then he's all like, "I guess so,"
But it's true. It came true.
and I didn't know at that time that we would actually even open anything.
Yeah.
It was always like a thing in the back of my mind, like, when you're doing that for somebody else all the time, like, you're like, man, this would be so cool if I could do this for myself.
Yeah.
Especially whenever you really enjoy going to other people's places and you find it, like I said, charming, like in its own way. Like, you just want a place of your own like that.
Yeah.
You wanna impress people with your food, and like, so it's cool.
How did you start? So Embers, was it called Embers at the beginning, and did you buy an offset from somebody or get one on Craigslist, or how did?
No, so I was cooking a lot at Bigham's, and then so I actually had read, I don't know where I read, somewhere, it might have even been a Daniel Vaughn like article or about somebody, but I had read about salt and pepper brisket, and like at Bigham's they don't season it at all. They just take it out of the pack and throw it right on.
Oh, interesting.
Because theirs is just like, their sauce is pretty good, so like they go off of that. So I read about salt and pepper brisket, and I was like, man, that's really cool. Like, because I've had like marinated briskets and stuff, and I was like, I'm just gonna try that. I'm gonna try the salt and pepper brisket. I'm gonna trim it up. Bigham's, they didn't trim or nothing. Like, they threw it on. When it was cooked, then you would, when you put it on the chopping block, then you would trim it up after it was cooked.
Interesting.
And just serve the lean, and then the moist end would actually be like chopped up later to be chopped beef, later.
That's super old school. That's so old school.
Yeah, exactly. And then so I had so much experience from trimming briskets after they were cooked. Like, I already knew where the fat was. You know what I mean? Like, because
you understood it.
Yeah, I had a good idea. So, trimming a brisket to me, and like knowing which way the grain runs and all that, like, that was now it's just second nature. So anyways, trimmed up my first brisket, salt and peppered the shit out of it, and threw it on. This is one I bought, obviously. Threw it on at night whenever they threw on all the other ones, and then in the morning I came in and
that's so interesting.
took it off, and I knew, because you cook so many, they pull theirs off a little, earlier, than somebody nowadays would at a craft place.
Yeah.
So, because like I said, they only serve lean, so they do it their way. Anyways, I knew I had to leave mine on longer, because like we would just poke it with like a pit fork in the side of the lean, and that's how you would tell if it was ready to pull or not. So I kind of got the idea over time, like, well, you're poking so many of them, you're like, they get softer the longer they stay on, And I enjoyed those more, like, because, they're cooked down a little more. So I was like, okay, the salt pepper brisket, I'm going to let it cook down. And, I just kept letting it cook through lunch service, and pulled it off.
Did you tell people, hey, don't mess with this is my little experiment?
I'm like, don't touch the pit. Like, this is mine. Don't touch it. Y'all keep doing what y'all are doing. Don't worry about what's on the pit. And then, so then pulled it off, and then it did have that black crust on it, and I was like, this is badass, like, because I never had one at that point like that.
Oh, that's so crazy.
I had never, went down Central Texas and had one. I just, like I said, I read about it, and I had experience with cooking them, so I just did it. And then, anyways, so I pulled it off at a certain point when I figured it was all right. Wrapped it up, popped it in the warmer. And then later in the day, after I was off, I took a little cut off of it, and I was like, yes, like, that is good. And then,
oh, that's so great.
Yeah, so then my wife, actually, like, when I met her, she was a vegetarian.
Wow.
So her and her brother were vegetarian because her mom had heart problems, so they all kind of did it together.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then so when I met her, I actually converted her and her brother back to eating meat because I was always grilling at their house.
That's hilarious.
And then, so we were living in this little apartment. I cooked that brisket, right? And then I come home, and I'm like, Joel, you just got to try this. She's like, I don't know. Because she, at that time, she, like, really didn't get why barbecue was so cool. Why, I liked it so much. And so I busted it out and cut her a slice, and she just looked at me and was like, dude, what the hell? She was just like amazed by it or whatever. And I was like, I'm telling you, I was like,
it's something special.
Yeah, right. So, but at that time, that just kind of fueled it a little further, the idea in my head, like, man, I would like to do this for myself. Like, and then so that kind of made me go, well, how would I do ribs? So then I started messing with ribs all the time, and so
Just
like,
salt,
dude,
just salt and pepper for ribs, or just all different kinds.
well, now, I mean, after we just finally opened or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
everything, all the meat is salt and pepper.
Yeah, but at that
The only
time
thing
when you were testing, just all different kinds of rubs, or
with ribs, I would do like chili powder
yeah,
and brown sugar or whatever, and they were good too. I mean, they're gonna be good, but if you cook them right. But yeah, at the end, I just came to the conclusion everything's just better. It's like less simple.
yeah, yeah.
Like if you can put the right amount on it, like over time, my wife, she started to really enjoy barbecue more. Sorry, I'm thinking too much.
That's okay. That's okay. This is good. This is interesting. I think people will find this interesting because it's interesting to hear this also from someone from Texas and someone that you think you would have tried it Central Texas style barbecue, but you grew up and you didn't, and that's okay.
Right.
But it's just funny. Like you would think everyone in Texas has tried it, but they haven't. So this is interesting. I like this.
It's because Lubbock's so far out, like 5 hours away from any big city.
That makes sense.
We're just out here in cotton fields.
you're on an island.
Right, it's what it feels like a lot growing up. But yeah, so that was like, I mean, that was pretty early. Like, I mean, 2009 or 10. Like I cooked that, and like I said, I worked there like 9 years off and on. So there was a long time in between the fact that I knew, and I did some more briskets and stuff over the time period because I was like, man, that's like, this is good. I'm gonna do me one. But for me at the time, I was like, brisket's a lot of money. Like I gotta, you know what I mean. Had to save up or put back, and then I'd do one again. Then I started feeding like my family and be like, my dad, he built it's like a grill smoker. I don't know they used it as grill growing up, but it's thick gauge metal. So like I was like, I'm gonna start smoking them on this thing, and yeah, the opening to the cook chamber is not that big from the little box, but I mean, I made do with it. I put a little plate in there and kind of made it like a wannabe reverse flow or whatever.
Oh, that's smart.
So I would do that and smoke briskets, for the family. I don't know. Everybody loved it. It was fun. Still wanted to always open up my place. But I was in school. Me and my wife were both in school to do art. I was going to be like an art professor or something.
Oh, nice.
I've been doing art since I was a little kid, like 5 years old, like just drawing and painting I don't know why.
Did you draw that tattoo on your arm, on your hand?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's just a whim. I was like, put this on there, I'm 18.
Just put it there. Okay.
But
was she an art major too?
Yeah, so she's like she actually has she ended up with a general studies degree, but it's minor in clay or sculpture and photography.
Well,
she's done plenty of photography, like to help around working at big homes in construction, going to school. So then we were going to move to Austin because I was wanting to go to UT because they have a great art program, and we actually went down there to tour the college. She was graduated by this point with her bachelor's, and I had my associates, and we were going to, we went and toured the college. And then we came back. We were for sure going to move. I always wanted to get out of Lubbock because that's just what everybody in Lubbock wants to do when you grow up in Lubbock. And then she was like, I'm pregnant, found out she was pregnant. So I was like, oh, shit, we're back. Like, we're not going nowhere. Like, we're stuck in Lubbock again. Like, we ain't moving. That's how it's always been.
Yeah.
So, we stayed. And then I went to work. I did landscaping all summer long while she was pregnant. And then we had the baby, and I got me a job for the winter at this TIC company, which is like a global construction company. And I was doing, I was helping build a power plant outside of town in Abernathy, Texas. Huh. So I did that for about 6 months, and I was like, I just had a baby, and so I felt like a whole new person, like being a brand new dad. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Like, what am I doing? Like, I was supposed to go back to tech, like, to finish my art degree. But I was thinking in my head, just too many thoughts. I was like, this is going to take 5 years to get my master's. Like, and I can support this family, you know.
Yeah, it's
So I
tough.
was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, you know. And then on top of it, there was like this crazy foreman lady that was over me, and she was driving me so crazy every day, like me and all the other coworkers that I had. So one day, it was the last of it, and even though I just had a baby, I was just like, man, like I can't do it. I can't work with this lady anymore. So I straight up was like, I'm not going in tomorrow, dude. So my buddy, he worked there with me because I got him a job, and I was like, here's what we're gonna do. My master plan. We're gonna smoke some briskets. We're gonna make sandwiches. We're gonna sit up on the side of the road, and we're gonna sell them suckers. And he's like, all right, man, I trust you.
Wow. Wow.
So we actually we did that. Stayed up all night. Did that. Set up on the side of the road near in an area that I thought was all gonna be badass because we did a lot of catering over there for Bigums because it's like industrial area, like bunch of working guys, you know. So I was like, man, they're gonna be hungry at lunch. They're gonna get off. They're gonna see we got sandwiches. They're gonna buy it up. There wasn't a single car that stopped for us.
Oh shit.
So I was so down, man. I was so down, and we had a sign. I started holding it on the road, and I was like, "Come on, you know, somebody stop!" And I was like, "This is so dumb. I quit my job. You know, I got bills to pay. I got the
Oh,
little one
so
at home."
sad. I bought this
Yeah.
brisket. We paid money.
Yes. Oh man, we were so down and out. So then I was telling my friend, I'm so sorry, like that you went with me. So that was the one of the big barbecue fails. What did I do after that? I don't even know what I did directly after that. I don't remember what I did right after that. But it was shortly after that that we went and visited her parents in Leveland, and prime real estate spot popped up off the main road, College Avenue, because they have the community college there. And I was just like, this is what we're doing. We're doing barbecue. Like, and Jill was like, okay, I trust you. Let's do it, you know. So I kind of just tossed school, put it on the back burner, and you know went in with that. There was a shed there that was like a coffee shop drive-through place, right? And it was still sitting there, and I was like, we can use that shed, and it'll be perfect. You know, master plan again.
You've got all these plans.
Yes, it's me in a nutshell. So then we get right on that. I had a meeting with the city to make sure that I could do this like and do it in like an affordable manner.
Yeah.
I had like a very small grease trap there, and I told them, the city people, like, you know, it's going to be all to go out the window. I'm not going to have a whole lot of dishes. So they approved it, and it was like all badass. I was so excited, you know, I was going to have my own place. We met with the people that had the land. Actually, no, that was a whole runaround too. I tracked down the person with the land, and it ended up not even being the person with the land. They owned the building, and he was gonna buy the land, and he told me the whole time that he was the owner of the land.
Oh.
And then, yes, so then it turns out I figure out the truth. So I get with the real owners of the land. He's that other guy with the building ends up moving that building off. So
Oh.
yes, so then I was at that point down and out again. I was like, dang, dude, like I don't even know why I thought I could open a place, you know. So I was like, this is just dumb. And then, you know, I guess because I had a kid, I just kind of like rebooted, and I was like, no, to hell with that. Like my wife was down too. I was like, no, to hell with that. We're gonna open. We're gonna do a place. You know, this is what we're doing. So I was like, we're gonna get our own shed. You know, we're gonna do it because you know they have those little sheds you can pay out monthly now.
Okay.
So I was like, let's do it. So I went and got another shed, and we had it put on that spot after we, you know, put some concrete piers. You know, we sit out there and dug in that hard ass dirt and put those piers. Long story short, we had to build our pit, our big pit, and I did the whole kitchen myself, with, I mean, everything in there, like, and then it took a 2-year period. I thought I was gonna bust it out in like a couple months because I have lots of construction, you know, experience. But
It took you 2 years? Oh.
yes, because we had my other baby in that time frame. So I just realized, I learned in that time period that when you're working and you're trying to be a family man and you're trying to open a business that's in a another town an hour away from where I was living across the
It's
cotton
insane
fields.
almost.
It's not a damn joke. Like, so man, those 2 years were super hard on me and my wife, like our family, and but we like, because we were already like 1 foot in the doors the whole time, so we were just like praying every day, like that we get enough done to potentially get it open like soon. And things always take longer than you
For
think.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, it was just one step at a time for 2 years, and we were broke. We had, because we were putting everything we had into it, um, every last cent. So we didn't do nothing for 2 years. We had these two new babies, and it was crazy. Uh,
But what was it like when you finally opened? What was that like?
when we opened, dude, like when we opened, okay, so our kitchen was phenomenal because, like I said, we had construction background and I worked in the kitchen, so I knew exactly what needed to be in there to pass. And we just made it nice. And we had a cook shack that we built over the pit, and it was just nice. It was a nice cook shack. So called the health inspector up to meet us out there for the first time. He was kind of appalled because he was like, usually people get with me beforehand uh, to talk about what you need. So you could tell by his voice, he's like, I'm just gonna meet you out there real quick, and then I'm gonna leave. Like, he was already ready to shoot me down.
Yeah.
So he met us out there, and he was just like starstruck because he was like, "This place looks phenomenal." He's like, "This is the nicest kitchen I've ever been in this area." And he was like,
Oh,
"Wow."
that's so great.
Yeah, and then he went into the cook shack, and he's like, "Y'all are by far ready to go. Like, y'all are ready to go." He's like, "You can open up tomorrow if you want."
Wow.
So then, yeah, so we were just like,
That must have
"Whoa!"
felt
Like, we
so good.
made it. Like, we finally made it. Like, after 2 years, and then so man, we were just like like blown away, ready to open. Uh, and then it's funny because our 5 year anniversary was like right around the corner the next week, and we wanted to start opening on a Thursday, which was our 5 year anniversary. And I was like, "I'm sorry, we can't do nothing for our 5 year anniversary." Well, I was like, "Oh, it's okay. Like, we need to open, man. Like, we got to make some money. Like, finally, I was like, "Okay." So we like got past, ready to open.
Mhm.
During this time, I was actually like painting a guy's house. It was my last deal working, before barbecue. So I painted the inside of his house fully, retextured some stuff, all new lights and everything in there. Then he wanted me to paint the outside of his house, so I painted all of that too. And so literally the day before, or the night before I cooked for us to open, I was still painting his house. The sun was going down, and I was like, "I'm done. Like, I'm done with this house finally." So like I was like painting the chimney like super fast, and like I said, the sun was going down. My wife was already waiting in the car to pick me up. Like, "Are you done with the house yet?" Like, So I got done with the house finally, and I was like, "Thank you for letting me paint your house." Took off in the car. Like I said, the very next day it was time to cook. So we didn't know, like, I didn't like think about pricing on our first day because I was too busy painting the house, and we were just so happy to be open. So we were like, let's just like get food and sell it. So keep in mind, we had 2 years of Instagram hype of like, hey, we're opening in this area, in this small town. So we didn't know if we were going to be busy or slow, because we were like, I don't know if anybody knows about us truly, or these people like just randomly are following us and it's just internet hype maybe. So we were like, I don't know, how much do we cook? That whole question. So we just like took a guess, and we got whatever briskets. I mean, we got prime briskets and stuff,
Yeah.
but like we didn't, like I said, look at prices. As far as like pepper goes, which you need a shitload of pepper when you make barbecue,
Yeah.
we bought those little peppers from the
Oh.
local grocery store.
Oh.
I had them in my basket, man. Like, all those ingredients came from the grocery store, and it was so expensive. And then so we were open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we ran the numbers after that week of how much did we put in and how much did we get back. And when we did all the calculations, we were like, "Holy shit, we didn't make any money this week because we because we didn't source our product
Yeah.
from the cheapest source." So that first week was
But
a
was
big
it
learning
busy?
curve.
Were people there? Did people show up?
Yes, and it was so crazy because I stayed up all night to cook, so I was all tired and stressed because I was like, I had like come up with all these recipes before we opened, and nobody cared to learn them from me and then so I was like telling everybody we got to make this like this, like
Oh, oh.
do it like this. So I was like, I had experience managing a restaurant, but man, when it's your own baby and you want it to be perfect, like man, whew, I was stressed about it, and everybody else was like, I don't know, like everybody thought that we were gonna get the hang of it, and I was gonna do everything. Like that was the plan, and I was like, after we got going, we are like, no, dude, like there's just no way I could do everything. Like it takes a team.
Was this 2016 or 2017?
That was in 2017,
Okay.
or right? What is it? 2000? No, that was in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, 2018, June 1st, 2018. I like had ran home really quick to change some clothes because I looked bad because I was all cooking, you know, you know how that is,
Yeah, yeah.
all grimy. So then I came back. Well, no, my phone started blowing up like 30 minutes till, and my wife is like, and my wife and my brother, he was there helping. They're like, "There's people lining up. We don't know what to do," and like, because they don't, they didn't cut or nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they were like, "What do we do? What do we do?" I'm like, "Dude, chill out. Like, I'm coming back." So I get there like 10 minutes till, and sure enough, like, there's all these people, and we're just like, "What the hell? Like, this is crazy." So it was crazy. Like the first uh, 2 months, the summer months in Levelland were amazing, and we thought, like people were like, "How are you doing?" And we're like, "Dude, like this is a dream come true." Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
took us 2 years to open. You have no idea how grateful we are, and like the fact that and everybody loved the food in Levelland. Like, dude, like in barbecue, your customers come up to the lot to you, the cutter, and they talk to you.
Yeah,
You
you
talk to
chat with them.
them,
Yeah.
right? So you always get a good feel of like how everybody's liking it, and that person or like they say, so and so sent me here because they really loved it, like, and so people would always come up, and we had a good feeling that the whole town was really loving it because the everybody would come up and be like, "Is it true? I came to see if it was true," and I'm like, "What are you talking about, like, dude?" Like, so, anyways, then that person would eat it, they go tell somebody else, and so it was great. The first 2 months, we were like, "This is awesome." And we expected to gradually climb, like with sales and like, do better to where we were actually staying in my mother-in-law's house over there at the beginning because we were like gonna get our own place. That was the plan because we had to move over there to open. Like we didn't want to be driving an hour every day or whatever. But then it was kind of crazy that whole time period because we had to get our food in Lubbock, which like is 30-45 minutes away. Uh, so every day, like I would cook on Wednesday, or we would get our food. We'd come to Lubbock damn near every day with our two little girls. Okay, our two little girls at the time were like 1 and 2. So
So
that's not fun,
this is
right?
okay. This is why you moved. Okay, gotcha. Okay, okay.
Okay, yeah, we were living in Levelland at the time. Open the restaurant. We're driving. That's when we realized this sucks because we're driving every day with our two little girls, and but we had to get all the briskets in our car. And I don't know. We go on food run to Lubbock. I would start cooking on Wednesday night, and I would serve Thursday, and then we would go run to Lubbock. My wife would drive because I'd be tired, so I'd be like sometimes trying to pass out in the car, and then we'd get all the food in Lubbock, come back to Levelland. I'd cook, serve the next day, back to Lubbock,
Oh,
just
that's a
over and
lot.
over again until Saturday night, where we'd be done. We'd clean up the restaurant, and straight up, I'd pass out, dude. Like, stayed up like 3 days straight. We didn't have warmers, and I mean, I don't know. That was another thing too. Like at Bigums, we always had warmers, and there I didn't, and I still don't have a warmer. That's why I cook overnight, partly.
Yeah. So
But it
then
was rough.
that told you we need to think of this a smarter way to do this, right?
Well, yes, we knew at that point, like, okay, we got to do these things. We got to buy a warmer, blah blah blah. But then the biggest thing happened when school came into season. We thought, okay, I think we're gonna get busier because people are busy and they're gonna want to just eat out and stuff. And I had experience for Bigums for years and years, so I was kind of taking like cues from Bigums, like, okay, during this part of the season, like people eat, like our business might pick up a little bit or whatever, or during the holidays it might pick up a little bit, right? So opposite for Level End, complete opposite,
Wow.
because people come to Lubbock to eat, nicer meals and stuff. So in the summertime, people, I guess, were off more, and the families were off more, I guess, and they ate, or maybe it's because we were in a new place. But when school started up, our business took a big hit, and we were
Oh,
like, "What the heck?" And it took us a while because we were like, "Okay, we were slow today," and then we kept cooking the same amount. Oh, we were slow again, and then brisket costs and everything will eat you up real fast. A lot of it's big overhead for barbecue, so
yeah.
yeah, we were taking big hits, and we were like, man, why are we slowing down? But we kept having to have faith, like, well, it'll pick back up. And no, it just never did. It
Oh,
never did.
that
And
makes
it kept
sense.
going down gradually, and instead of going up gradually in sales. And we were just like, man, this is like not good. Like, this is not what we, signed up for, And we still had like our regular customers that would come there, the great customers, man, and they kept us going. But we had to learn how to budget so hard. Levelin taught us. Like how to be perfect, But it kind of, in a way, it kind of sucked for me because I got into the whole thing because I love cooking.
Yeah.
I love cooking and I love cooking for people. We couldn't spend any extra money on, trying to do new things too much,
Yeah.
But we still were like, we're craft barbecue. We want to be craft barbecue. We're doing it this way or this way, So we were still experimenting and doing new things. Like in the wintertime, we did uh, the brisket stew, which is like just a recipe Jewel would always make with ground beef, which I always loved it. And then we were like, let's try the brisket in there and
That
like
sounds so
stir it
good.
off in there. And it was like the most amazing thing I've ever had. Like I tell people when I took my first bite of that, like I leaned up against the door because I was like, it was a cold day, and I was like, dude, man, the oilfield workers around here will love that. It was about 4 months in where I had realized or kind of come to grips with the fact that this is not. I don't think I want to be doing this in Leveland like for 5 years,
Yeah.
or I don't think I can stick this out because we were like back to being like poor like
Yeah.
again, and I was just like, this sucks, man, this really sucks. So every night I was it kind of it sucked because it almost killed the passion for me of cooking
Yeah,
and
that's
cooking
sad. That could,
and
yeah.
barbecuing because I was so tired, those because I knew how like strung out I was going to feel on Saturday. So I was always like gung ho for the Thursday cook, or when Wednesday to Thursday cook, and but as soon as I was tired, and if we didn't get good business on our first day open, I was like, man, dude, it's gonna be a hard week, and
Yeah.
it killed my spirit and my wife. But it's crazy because my wife over that time period really like she never worked in a barbecue restaurant like me, so she fell in love with serving people and doing barbecue like I did when I worked at Bigham's, and she understood. Her family always had barbecues growing up too, so we related in that sense. Man, that girl might love barbecue more than me now. At the end of it all, I didn't even know about coming to Lubbock. That wasn't even a thought because we had put so much work into the Leveland thing. So I was like, I was just ready to provide for the family, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna like, I don't want to do construction again. So I was like, maybe I'll just get my CDL because people in my family have done that. So I was like, I'm gonna go be a trucker or something like. And then
Yeah.
she was like, hell no, you're not doing that. She's like, we waited 2 years to open this place. We are like already doing
Oh,
it.
that's
People
so
love
great.
the food, Like she was just like hell bent. Like people love the food. The food's too good to like just throw it away. Like don't do that. And I'm like, whatever. Like I'm like, if you want to do something, like figure out a spot for us to try to sell, and it's doable, I'll cook. That's what it was.
So you put it in her hand?
Yeah. And so she took the reins and she started calling everybody in Lubbock. And then, we got a few spots that we were like, maybe we could sell there. They would maybe charge us like per day or something. And then we hooked up randomly with High Sign Brewing in Austin, and they needed a food truck. So we were like, we talked with them, and we were like, well, we'll be their food truck, like, and we'll move to Austin after all. Yeah, so we were supposed to be the food truck at High Sign Brewing in Austin. And then, but we decided to close down at the end of the year in Loveland. And then she had still spoke with people in Lubbock. One of the people she had spoke to was Charles Adams, which he runs an art gallery and kind of pretty much is one of the founders of the whole art district in Lubbock.
Oh, very cool.
So the Charles Adams Studio Project is like studio workspaces for artists and like a gallery. And they have this area there with all these tables. It has a big covering because it used to be an old gas station. But it's supposed to be where food trucks are able to sell in Lubbock. But food trucks in Lubbock are different than like Austin and stuff because they're pretty new. And so it's either catering based or people really want to go to where the crowds are. Like nobody really has like a permanent spot.
Yeah.
So
which is pretty unique to Austin. Yeah.
Right. So me and Jewel, we were familiar with all that. So we were like, well, let's just go to Charles Adams' studio. We're just going to do Thursdays only. So that way if people know about us, they're not going to split our days up. Like, well, we're not going to give them the option to eat with us Thursday and Friday or Thursday and Saturday. Like just Thursdays when you can have this food. That way we don't get eaten up with our overhead cost again because we already knew this from Loveland. So we went there, and this Lubbock was supposed to be like a transition, like get our food trailer done and then go to High Sign Brewing. But let me just say this: I'm still not done with that food trailer. I'm working on it in the process. I did a little work on it today. We served out from under a tent, pop-up tent, and we have to get a temporary permit every time that we sell. We started selling in Lubbock, and then it started to pick up in Lubbock, and then we got on the front page paper in Lubbock, and then we got like a few video little deals made of us cooking and serving. People started picking up on it, and like again, just like Loveland, really enjoying the food. And I kind of always thought in Loveland, well, maybe these people are just like small town Loveland, West Texas people, and like maybe they never had like really good barbecue. Like I don't know. But then there's some people in Loveland that were like, I've been to Franklin's, I've been to Louis Miller's, and all this. So I was like, that's cool, man. I'm glad you like it. Like that's very awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then we come to the bigger city of Lubbock, which I'm from Lubbock. I'm very familiar with the people and like just how the vibes. So same thing though, dude. Everybody just really loved the food. And like I said, we got all these little things going on. Abe's podcast came out. That was cool. PBS, the local KTTZ TV, we got put on PBS.
Was that 24 frames or whatever?
24 frames, yeah.
That was rad. That was really cool.
Yeah. It's very cool. And like, so everybody, there's a good sense of community in Lubbock nowadays.
Well, also too, I saw Jimmy Ho. He even said like, if I move back to that area, you'd be a specific reason why he would be happy to be back there.
Yeah, I mean that was cool. I mean, it's just cool, man. When anybody comes out to try and has something nice to say, that's just the best.
You're at that art district area, right? That's where
yes.
Are you going to stay there or go to Austin? Like what's
No, that's what I'm saying. It was supposed to be a transition, and then like, so we were just waiting out the cold, windy days every Thursday. And we knew we were going to add it on another day at some point. And I kept telling my wife, in March, we're going to pick up, like it's going to pick up hard. And so we had our normal customers, which some of them kind of knew about us already. They picked up on who we were because of Texas Monthly. So when we came to town, they were there. And we had our regulars every week, every Thursday, but they kept picking up more and more people. And then in March, I mean, dude, one random day we had the biggest ass line, and we were like, what? Like, I was just like, I knew it was going to happen, but I did not know it was going to happen today. And I mean, it was a super long line, like, a couple of hours until that line was done. And yeah, I was just like, holy crap. But from Leveland experience, I was like, that probably won't happen again next week. Like, it was a spike.
Yeah.
And then it happened again the next week. We were like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on in Lubbock? Like, this is cool, man. Like, because in all my Bigums years, dude, I never imagined, and especially my big time fail on the side of the road with my barbecue sandwiches. Like, I never thought I would be selling barbecue in Lubbock, like, and doing well at it. And so it's really grown over here. We added on the second day, just like a month ago or something.
So what's your menu, just so people know what you guys are serving?
So we do brisket, spare ribs. We do handmade sausage, either cheddar or green chili cheddar.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that too.
It's pretty good. We do pork belly. I like to mix it up. So, I mean, sometimes you might see pork shoulder, but it's more, people really love the pork belly. So, like, I do that more than not now. In the past, I've done, like, half chickens and stuff. That's not really on the regular menu. We do turkey now. We added that on.
Are the tomahawk steaks like a special thing that you do?
Yeah. And I probably will do more of those in the future because I found out, like, in Leveland, when we do new things, that people come and they want to try it out.
Yeah.
And so we kind of continued that. And then we kind of do things seasonal. So, like, our brisket stew that we added on in Leveland, we haven't done that here so much. Like, at the first part in January, we were doing it, and we stopped doing it. Green chili cream corn, we stopped doing it. We are doing, like, we will add that stuff back on, like, maybe November.
Fall.
Yeah, right. So right now we're doing, like, charro beans. We're doing, like, a warm potato salad that has, like, we call it potato salad. It's just really cheesy potatoes with, like, sour cream and, like, ranch seasoning. Like, it's really good.
That sounds so good.
We put brisket off in it too. Like, yeah, it's kind of like a stuffed potato, except without the. And then we do the whole corn, the street corn, and my wife puts the cotija cheese and the all the seasoning on it, and people
I love
are really
that so much.
Yeah.
When it's done right.
People are really eating that up right now.
Literally.
So, yeah. So, like, the Tomahawk Steak, I see them all the time when I'm shopping for the meat. And I actually went to the store that Wednesday night right before the store closed, and I was going to head down the highway to start cooking. And I just texted my wife, and I was like, I'm buying a Tomahawk Steak, man. Like, I never made one. But I was like, I'm about to make this sucker, and we're gonna advertise it,
That's cool.
And so we put it. I did it. I did the reverse sear on it. I smoked it, and then I reverse seared it in the morning. And then people were, like, showing up in droves for it, and I was like, all right, yeah, I could probably do this, like, in the future.
Yeah, it's fun too.
Apparently, it was good. I didn't get to try it myself.
That's sad. That's so sad.
Like, people were like, oh man, it's so good.
Do you guys have desserts too?
Yeah, so we did banana pudding a lot in Leveland, and we'll probably bring that back at some point. But we've been doing a lemon cream pie.
Ooh.
So that's like a lemon pie that my family always made, and I remembered it one day, and I was like, that would be awesome, like little pies. We do the homemade graham cracker crust and the lemon cream, and then we make our homemade whipped cream to put on top of it.
Oh, sounds so good.
So it's a really good sweet finish to a salty and
savory. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, we still do our temporary permits. When our food trailer's done, it's going to be awesome because we're not going to have to pay for those every single time we serve.
So right now you're open Thursday, Friday, right?
Nope, Thursday and Saturday.
Oh,
we skip Friday.
Okay.
Because I also learned, like I said, I learned from Leveland, like doing that back to back, and me staying up all night is just bad for my health.
What time?
11 a.m. until we sell out.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and I always try to tell people that we're going to have food until about 3 p.m.
Okay.
For sure. We're always going to have brisket ribs. The sausage tends to go really fast. Then the corn, it goes pretty fast too.
When you have the trailer, do you think it'll be 4 days, maybe 3 or 4 days?
I don't think, man. Depending on how things go, we maybe would add on a Friday. We're gonna change our cooking schedule when we get the trailer because I'm gonna get a warmer to put in there. So
You kind of play it
I
by
might,
ear.
yeah, I might start cooking a little bit more in like earlier, like in the day, and because I can utilize that warmer to for hot holding. Yeah, we'll see. And then as far as like not moving, after we really picked up, we actually talked to like the director of that place. We've gotten to know those guys over the time,
Yeah.
the artists that hang out there and do work. Anyways, we were like, man, like here's the deal, like we came over here and like we're getting like serious over here in this spot, and we were like, we want to stay in this spot, like we love this spot. We are like art people.
Yeah.
We,
Like it makes so much sense.
right, and we were like, like people are gonna know about us in this spot on these days. Like we were like, so we're thinking like more long term. Is that okay with you? And he's like, whatever, man. He's like, whatever y'all want to do. He's like, y'all have stuck it out. He was like, y'all came out here on the cold, windy days, and we didn't know. Like, I think he didn't know about us. Like, he thought that we were just. They knew that we had did away with our restaurant to go over there, and I think they thought we were maybe a little bit crazy that we just wanted to set up with a tent, like randomly downtown, because downtown is like in a redevelopment stage. Like growing up, there was nothing in downtown. Now there's like a few businesses popping up, but we're like, man, this is very cool. We get to be a part of that.
Oh yeah.
In the new, it's pretty new, like cultural art district, and so yeah, we discussed with them like, can we maybe like rent a studio space, later, so we could have permanent seating. They let us use the gallery seating there sometimes, but if we had that space and we could maybe potentially leave our trailer or a pit down there, like instead of dragging it back and forth.
Yeah, then you could maybe eventually incorporate your art, maybe
Yeah,
her
my wife
photography.
said that. My wife was like, you can hang your paintings in the seating area,
Yeah,
and I was
that
like,
would be rad.
maybe that would be cool. But I mean, I don't know, like we have to talk more with those guys,
Yeah.
but they're so cool. They're so they're forward thinking people because they're artists, and I think they really get the fact that they get people who want to do something by hand on
Creative
their
and
own.
yeah.
Yeah, creative on their own, and so they're entrepreneurs, in their own sense. And like I said, I think they respect us now because we stuck it out, and we have these big old lines now, and they're like, I remember one of the first days we had the big lines. Chad, the director, came out and was just looking at it like
Like what
with
the
a
heck?
shocked face, like he was like, "Oh my god!" like so.
That's really cool. That's
But it is
awesome.
cool, yeah.
This has been so great. This is so. I knew your story and I'd heard from it, but I didn't know it in its entirety. And what a story from like going to like selling on the corner to not even selling actually at all, trying to
Right.
sell these sandwiches to where you are now, where you're gonna have a potentially a permanent space, which is that's so
Yeah.
cool in an art area.
And it's so crazy too because I told my wife if I would have known we could have sold here, I would have never started the whole thing in Leveland, and I would have just came over here and sold. But I wouldn't have done it because it took us having to go in 2.5 months or 2 years and 6 months in Leveland to even have you know the grit to
Yeah, and the
go to
knowledge that
Lubbock
you
and
have.
stick it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's
it's
sad.
like
Like it's like you don't want to. The journey doesn't always
right.
seem. Yeah, but it is the journey. You
Yeah.
are who you are because it shaped who you are right now.
Yes. Exactly.
So interesting. Wow, this is
Yeah.
so cool. Well, Andrew, it's so nice to meet you, and I can't wait to have lunch with you sometime when I'm up. So if someone is in Dallas or Austin, how long would it take them to get out to Lubbock?
Five
Five,
five
five
hours.
each from either spot.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, and even if you're not thinking Texas, Santa Fe, I don't know if they have an airport. I don't know. Probably
They
Santa
probably do, right?
Fe,
Yeah, they
five
probably do.
hours. I mean, 5 hours to anything, unless you're going to like I said, Amarillo's like 2 hours. Abilene's 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
I'm sure it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. And there's
Nowadays, it's worth it because there's like people who are saying like West Texas is a barbecue
mhm.
destination, and it's true. Like pit forks and smoked greens
Mm-hmm.
and Regino barbecue, and of course you have even Mays or any of the other small town or the small joints that, like I said, I grew up eating. Like we still go eat those. A lot of the time on Wednesday before I'm gonna cook, I'm like, let's go eat barbecue, and we go eat. And I tell my wife, like, I need my motivation. I need to eat some good
Yeah.
barbecue so I can know why I want to cook.
Well, there's
You
all
know what I
those
mean?
places plus all the places you talked about earlier. Yeah, like that's exciting. Yeah, like you kind of gave us a little tour of Lubbock in the area.
Yeah, man. Come down and like for sure I'll cook for you and I'll take you out and we'll eat all the
Cool.
spots, man.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll stay in town. That would be I could stay overnight. That'll be fun. Excellent.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well, have a great evening, and I really look forward to seeing you. Yeah, good luck with everything. I'm so excited for you.
Cool, man. I appreciate you.